All right, so diving in today, one of you reached out wanting us to really unpack this idea from Wallace, specifically chapter 7 of The Science of Being Well, right? And you were looking for those aha moments, the core insights, minus any unnecessary fluff.
Right, absolutely. Getting to the heart of it.
So let's set our mission for this deep dive then. Understanding how, according to Wattles, we can tap into this universal source for health and well-being. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Perfect. So right off the bat in this chapter, Wattles introduces this concept of the supreme. It's not like a traditional God figure or anything.
Right, not at all.
More like this fundamental energy, this intelligence that everything comes from, and it permeates like everything, right? Wattles calls it thinking substance, constantly pushing for more life, always seeking fuller expression, almost like the universe's inherent drive towards growth, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. He's emphasizing this dynamism, this intelligent, inherent in existence itself. It's not just inert matter, right?
Right, exactly. It's active, constantly striving for better functioning, more life, and of course for Wattles, that includes perfect health.
Exactly, and here's where it gets really interesting, especially for our listener, right?
Yeah, totally.
Wattles suggests that by aligning ourselves with this fundamental intelligence, we can actually receive both health and wisdom. It's like tapping into a universal frequency.
Oh, I like that. Tapping into the universal frequency.
Yeah, it's about finding that resonance. And that alignment, as Wattles sees it, starts with our own natural desire for a more abundant life.
Okay, so our desire, our own personal yearning for a better life, actually connects us with this larger force.
Exactly. Our natural inclination toward growth and well-being, it aligns with this universal life force, almost like a current of vitality. But there's a crucial element here.
Okay, a catch, so to speak.
Well, not so much a catch, but more like a key, I guess. It's not simply about wanting a better life just for ourselves.
Okay, so there's more to it.
Yeah. Wattles is very clear. True harmony with this supreme intelligence requires a desire for abundant life for everyone. Because this fundamental substance exists in everything and everyone, wanting good only for ourselves actually creates a disconnect.
Interesting. So it's actually counterproductive in a way.
Exactly. It's like trying to draw water from a well while simultaneously blocking the spring. Desiring good for others, he says, is essential for unlocking those benefits for ourselves.
I see, a kind of universal give and take. So let's say we achieve this harmony. What are the actual benefits Wattles talks about?
Well, he emphasizes two primary outcomes: wisdom and physical energy. Let's start with wisdom.
Perfect. Let's break it down.
But we need to be clear what Wattles means by wisdom. He's not talking about just, accumulating facts or being intellectually sharp.
Right, not book smarts alone.
No, it's more profound than that. It's about the ability to perceive and understand truth deeply, to make sound judgments, and to act in accordance with what's right in life. It's about having the insight to apply knowledge effectively. That leads to, real inner clarity and purposeful action.
So it's less about being a walking encyclopedia and more about having the practical intelligence to really navigate life well.
Precisely. And this wisdom, according to Wattles, comes directly from aligning with that all the supreme intelligence.
Okay, so back to that universal connection.
Yeah, it's fundamental. But remember, that principle of universal harmony is critical here.
All right, we can't forget that.
Because if our intentions are selfish, if they aim to cause harm or create injustice, well, that blocks our connection to wisdom.
It's like creating static on the line.
Exactly. Our underlying purpose must be for the greater good if we want to tap into this true source of insight.
I see. Wattles also touches on the way we live our lives, right? This balance between our physical, intellectual, and spiritual selves.
Yes, he talks about these three aspects and how some people might live predominantly for one: the body, the intellect, or the soul.
Okay, interesting.
His view is that the wisest and most complete life involves a balanced development of all three. Too much emphasis on one at the expense of the others creates an imbalance.
Right, it's all about balance.
Yeah, and if we think about our listeners' interest in, gaining thorough understanding without feeling overwhelmed, that balanced approach which wisdom provides is key.
It's like finding that sweet spot where we can absorb knowledge and insights without it becoming too much to handle.
Exactly.
He even connects this idea to the saying, "He that willeth to do the will of the Father shall know." How does he interpret that?
Wattles sees it as meaning that when our fundamental purpose is aligned with the life-affirming nature of the Supreme, striving to express our full potential in all areas, that's when we naturally gain access to this deeper understanding and wisdom.
It's like having a clear intention actually focuses our perception, right?
Exactly. It removes the distractions and allows us to see things more clearly.
Makes sense. So wisdom is the first major benefit of this harmony. What's the second?
The second benefit that Wattles highlights is physical energy, vitality, that fundamental life force within us. He argues that the energy of this formless substance is limitless.
Unlimited energy, huh?
Yeah, it's a pretty bold statement. He believes that it permeates absolutely everything. And while we inherently receive this energy just by existing, right, he argues that we can intentionally access it to a far greater degree.
So feeling tired all the time, maybe that's not really our default state. There's more to tap into.
That's the idea. He's saying the limitation isn't on the giving end.
It's on our end.
Exactly. The constraint lies in our own ability to draw upon this energy, our will, and our understanding of how to connect with this inexhaustible source. It's like we have this immense power supply constantly available, but we don't know how to turn it on fully.
I see. So the energy is there, but we have to actively reach for it.
Yeah, and Wattles gives us a really interesting example to illustrate this, the second wind phenomenon.
Oh yeah, when you're exhausted, but suddenly get that burst of energy.
Exactly. He references Professor James's work on this, how individuals can push past perceived limits and experience this renewed surge of energy even after feeling completely drained.
So it's like breaking through a barrier.
Right. And Wattles suggests that the key is having unwavering faith that the strength is there, maintaining a focused intention on it, and continuing to act. Doubt or passive waiting disrupts the flow.
So belief, focus, and action. It's about aligning our inner state with what we want to achieve.
Exactly. And this idea has direct implications for healing, don't you think?
Of course, yeah.
Wattles posits that someone facing illness, if they hold an unshakable belief in their recovery, if their purpose aligns with the Supreme's drive for abundant life,
So a deep-seated belief in healing.
and if they're living in a way that supports health, then they will receive the necessary energy for restoration.
Like the universe actively supports that intention for life.
Exactly. And then Wattles introduces this principle of equal action and reaction.
Okay, so every action has a reaction. Pretty basic.
Right. But think of it in this context. By desiring more life, but also being in harmony with the Supreme Intelligence, we're essentially creating a vacuum.
Okay, and nature abhors a vacuum.
Exactly. This vacuum then gets filled by these life-affirming forces. It's like we're drawing this one life towards us, enriching our environment with vitality.
So the more we align ourselves with this universal life force, the more it flows into us, making us healthier, more vibrant.
Right. And Wattles even quotes lines like, "You shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you, and your Father giveth not his Spirit by measure."
Emphasizing that this abundance is available to everyone.
Exactly. It's not a limited resource, it's an infinite supply, accessible through aligning our will, faith, and actions with the universe's life-affirming nature.
So, bringing it all together, this chapter from The Science of Being Well is about recognizing that our health and well-being are connected to this universal life force that's always pushing for more expression.
It's a really powerful idea.
It is, and the key is to align with it by desiring good for everyone, and in doing so, we unlock wisdom and this seemingly limitless source of energy.
It really shifts the focus away from just addressing symptoms and towards cultivating this fundamental harmony with the universe.
It suggests that our thoughts, beliefs, even our intentions, have a much bigger impact on our well-being than we often realize.
Yeah, we hold more power than we know.
Exactly. So here's something to consider as you go about your day. How are you aligning your personal goals with a broader sense of well-being for others? Could that be the key to unlocking greater wisdom and vitality in your own life? Moving beyond just your health toward a more holistic sense of thriving. Food for thought, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.